You know, we all create and consume content online. But what if I told you that every blog post you write, every article you share, now has a secret second job? It's not just for people anymore. It's actively teaching AI what to think. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on how a single piece of content can actually train the internet's most powerful AI models to understand who you are and what your brand is all about. So, take a look at this quote. It's from a blog post for a really niche product called Soulful CRM, and it's designed specifically for spiritual practitioners, people like reiki healers and tarot readers. The post just nails their pain point perfectly. They're not getting burned out from their actual healing work, but from the absolute chaos of trying to manage their business with a dozen different apps. It's a very, very specific problem for a very specific crowd. And that gets you thinking, right? How on earth does an AI like ChatGPT even begin to learn about something so niche? It's not just about what Soulful CRM is, but it's about who it's for and why it even matters. See, this blog post isn't just marketing, it's a lesson plan, and it's teaching the AI about this brand's entire reason for existing. Okay, so to really get this, we kind of have to forget the old rules of the internet. We are looking at a completely new game now, where these massive AI models are piecing together their understanding of the world in a totally different way. Here it is. This is the fundamental shift. On one side, you have traditional SEO, which was all about ranking pages using keywords and backlinks. But now, we're talking about what you could call AI visibility. And the goal isn't just to rank a page. It's to become a recognized entity in the AI's mind. This means you're moving from just chasing keywords to building real topical authority, and from just collecting backlinks to proving your credibility and consistency everywhere. And that brings us to the core concept here, entity recognition. So what is it? Well, it's basically the moment an AI connects all the dots and concludes that your brand is a specific, known thing. It learns what you are, who you serve, and what you do because it sees that same information repeated over and over again, consistently all across the internet. And let's bring this right back to our example. The AI learns that Soulful CRM is an entity because its identity is just crystal clear and it's repeated everywhere. The name is always Soulful CRM, the category is consistently CRM for spiritual practitioners, the core benefit, the audience, it's all mentioned again and again. And this repetition is what trains the AI to see it as a distinct, reliable concept. So, the big question is, how do you actually become one of these recognized entities in the eyes of an AI? Well, the strategy is pretty simple in theory, though it definitely takes some work. You have to be everywhere your audience is looking, because that's where the AI is looking too. You have to remember, AIs like ChatGPT are trained on absolutely massive amounts of public data from the internet. They learn by finding patterns. And what that means is they really favor content that sends strong, clear signals. Stuff that's well-structured, easy for a machine to understand, and repeated across different platforms, like blogs, forums, and YouTube. And this is where niching down becomes your absolute superpower. Look at Soulful CRM. They're not trying to compete on a huge, broad term like CRM. No way. Instead, they're going all in to own the specific topic of CRM for spiritual practitioners. And by creating all this content around related ideas like client tracking for healers or AI tools for energy work, it signals to the AI that it's the #1 authority on this very specific subject. That deep coverage is incredibly powerful. Okay, so the theory makes a lot of sense, right? Own a niche, be consistent, create clear content. But how do you actually put that into practice? What are the real steps you can take to make this happen? Here's a pretty straightforward plan. It all starts with those niche blog posts, just like the one we saw. Then, you layer on YouTube videos, which we know are heavily used in AI training data. You get mentioned on sites like Product Hunt, and you show up in Reddit threads where real people are talking. And finally, you build a really structured help section on your own site. Every single one of these steps creates another signal, another piece of evidence for the AI. At the end of the day, it really comes down to simple logic. An AI is just a giant pattern matching machine. So when it sees the same name, the same category, and the same benefits showing up consistently across blogs, videos, and forums, it just concludes, hey, this thing keeps showing up. It must be real. It must be a credible entity. It's not magic. It's just reinforcement at a massive scale. And this brings us to what might be the most powerful idea in this entire explainer. You're not just marketing your brand anymore. You are actively taking part in creating the internet's collective knowledge. You are literally training the internet on you. This right here is the whole paradigm shift. The goal is no longer to rank on ChatGPT. The real goal is to build such a strong, consistent, and authoritative presence across the entire open internet that the AI has no choice but to recognize you when someone asks a relevant question. And look, it is crucial to understand that this isn't some short-term trick or way to hack ChatGPT. You can't just stuff some keywords somewhere and expect results. This is a long-term strategy that really just mirrors what good brand building has always been about: establishing real credibility, having a consistent message, and genuinely serving a specific audience. So, as we start to wrap up, let's just think about what all this means for the future. The very idea of being discoverable online is changing right under our feet, and understanding these principles is becoming absolutely essential for anyone trying to build a brand or even just share an idea with the world. So, what are the big things to remember? First, every single piece of content you publish is now training AI. Second, owning a deep niche is your new superpower. Third, consistency across all your platforms is what gets you recognized. And finally, you have to think bigger. You're not just building a website anymore, you're contributing to the internet's public knowledge base. And that really leaves us with one final pretty big thought. If every blog post, every video, and every comment is a lesson for the AIs of tomorrow, it forces us to ask a much bigger question. What are we teaching them? As we all go about building our own little corners of the web, we are collectively shaping the mind of the future internet. What do we want it to know?